Hello, hello, live with Sidereal Astrologer Trifon here. He had the courage to come up and share with us his astrological analysis for the elections tomorrow. Today, we're just doing it the day before that. Thank you that you came despite of being sick, and that it's very risky putting yourself out there making a prediction. I don't know how to do that. I don't want to do it. But a
Of
big
course, this is a difficult thing, right? The $1,000,000 question.
I know you got the previous two exact, and you were very certain back then. And last time we spoke, you said it's very on the balance this time. Have you reached the conclusion?
Yes, finally I made a decision. It's more like decision, based, of course, on astrological analysis. Because really, all the cycles on the both candidates are so much like almost balanced in strength. But based on certain, of course, astrological knowledge, I will make a prediction. So first of all, let's talk that the horoscope of Kamala Harris that is available on the internet is not the real one.
Oh, all
Yeah.
right. How did you figure
I
this
made
out?
an analysis. I made an analysis called rectification in order to check if this is true. So someone says that he saw the birth certificate, etc. But I have seen that either he saw the numbers in the wrong way, or he just don't remember very well. So the hour is a little different. Definitely. The minutes, I mean, not.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's not like she's
But
born
it's a big
today.
change. It's a big change in the cycles and influences the decision, etc. The ascendant is changing. She becomes Taurus rising.
Oh,
Give a
okay.
hint.
But that's sidereally. It's still tropically Gemini, isn't it?
Tropically still is Gemini, but yes, she is Taurus rising.
Mm-hmm.
Taurus rising with Venus in Leo ruling the ascendant.
Mm-hmm.
So Leo, of course, is a sign of power. And
Can you share
more
the chart
importantly,
for us to see?
okay, good. Of course, I will give you the traditional look, or maybe I will give you the both ways. Sure. Just a second to get there. Because right now I have Donald Trump chart. Okay. So let's begin the share. This is her chart, right? With sidereal signs, of course, and Placidus house system. And some of the lots of power, I have included them for people to see. There's a lot of power here. And some lots called kingship and kings, etc. So these are different variants. It's a matter even of research. But basically, you can see she has one of the points of the kingdom with the ascendant Lord Venus. Well, of course, this explains that she is an influential person, right? But what is, for me, like more decisive here in this chart is that Saturn is culminating on the midheaven. So she is more like Saturnian type of person. Definitely. And and the midheaven and Saturn are having good aspects by the sun and the moon, which are almost exact aspects, showing someone who is influential in high position. And why I'm talking about Saturn here? Right now, Saturn is about to make his move in the next days. Saturn is about to make his move. What does this mean? He will become from retrograde, he will become direct. And this is the midheaven lord, in other words, the lord of power and high positions in the Kamala chart. Maybe you see that I'm still on the same opinion after some thinking. Of course, it's really difficult, but I will take it because of this, that Saturn is turning direct, and because of some other aspects, that actually she will be, after all, pronounced the winner.
Mm-hmm.
She will be pronounced the winner. This is what I think. And this will happen after some days. I guess probably when Saturn is turning direct, like a week later or something. I remember the last elections. They needed a couple of days. And other reasons are that I have also checked, for example, the inauguration date,
Mm-hmm.
which is supposed to be 20th of January. And in that time, Mercury, who is related to odds, etc., will make a trine to Venus, the ascendant lord, in her chart. While at the same time, Trump will have Mars making conjunction to Saturn in his chart, 20th of January, which is basically like a more challenging situation, I think. I will show you the transits on the day of the elections. Okay. But here we go. Now this is tomorrow morning, some transits, and we will see how Jupiter is exactly on the ascendant, even though retrograde.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually very controversial because Jupiter rules in her chart the South Node, which can indicate loss, right? And rules the 8th house, which can indicate crisis. And in general, she would have to be even really careful for her own safety in those days ahead, because the 8th house lord is on the ascendant, but also the 8th house is the house of political power. And I have checked with the rectification process that when Jupiter in the past have made important aspects in cycles called primary directions, back in 2002, aspect of Jupiter to the ascendant in the primary directions, then similar influence in 2011, and now her ascendant will start to be ruled by Jupiter for 8 years, which is like a sign for 2 terms, potentially. Oh. And there are many other things that I have seen, but I will not comment right now about everything. Just I'm saying some of the things that I think lead to this conclusion. Have in mind, of course, it's not impossible for me to be wrong. This is very, very difficult decision to make here. But part of the reason is those positions. Saturn turning direct, Jupiter on her real ascendant degree, even Venus aspecting on the other side. But because Mars is also transiting the 3rd house, there will be a lot of rumors, a lot of conflicts going on around her. It's definitely a difficult moment. I also see that the South Node in this moment, 10 degrees Virgo in transit, he makes a special aspect called Antistia towards projection towards the 19 degrees of Aries. Well, not very popular, but the South Node projects himself towards the royal degree, which indicates that people who are like more tending to have strong leadership, let's say, like this, like kings, etc., may have to lose right now. And later is very challenging, but also on the inauguration day, I can go even there. Through transits of 20th January, right? Let's go. You'll see. Now, see those transits on the day of the inauguration, right? Who will be sworn as president. Now see Mercury, who is related to documents and oaths, etc. 23 Sagittarius trining her Venus. Her ascendant lord is in conjunction with Saturn, which gave me a lot of thought because this can mean also limitations earlier. But in this case, Saturn is ruler of the 10th house of power, uniting with her ascendant lord. So I choose to interpret it as she having the power. And these are the main reasons. One of the most important things is that I think, you remember I corrected the birth time, which not everyone can agree to this, but I have my really strong reasons. I can prove it to anyone. And in this birth time that is in here, 9 p.m., 9 minutes, even 20 seconds, these are the aspects. Rulership of Jupiter coming in her life, Jupiter conjuncting the ascendant these days, and her 10th house lord becoming stronger this month. In a matter of like 10 days, 10, 12 days, he will be really strong. So these are some of the basic reasons. Of course, there are more things, but this is how I base my conclusions. I will also show you the chart of Trump. Oops. It's very difficult because he also has like similar positions, right?
He has Jupiter close to his sun in the 10th house. That's like a lot of astrologers base that, okay, Jupiter over the sun in the 10th house, that's, you know, victory, winning.
I know. That's why I said that Jupiter on the ascendant of Camilla is also very challenging position. But I have checked that in the past, Jupiter is working well for her. Now in his chart, last time when he won the elections, he had trine of Jupiter to the Sun. And Jupiter returned back in 2016. More importantly, he had the Sun in direction coming exactly to the ascendant, which was very obvious to me that he will be the winner. And basically 99% of the astrologers were listening to the media instead of looking at the cycle of the Sun in his chart. That's why I made the correct prediction and they did not.
It was progress Sun transiting over his ascendant. And you said, based on this, I'm so sure that he will be. Wasn't it? That was
progress and also primary directed.
Oh,
so different kinds of directions.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he had the Sun, right? The Sun is symbol of political power. And it comes from his 10th house. Now Jupiter is there. As you see, I will now show his transits for the day of the elections. All right. Now you can see all this. So tomorrow morning is this. So now you'll see some curious things going on. Like you said, yes, Jupiter is there, right? Jupiter is close to the Sun. But he's retrograde and actually he's turning away from the Sun. So, and Jupiter is making conjunction with the North Node, which is not always.
But then again, retrograde can mean coming back into power.
This makes me think that this is maybe something else. Not, well, I told you, it's really difficult here. Jupiter is there, but it's not only Jupiter. Thing is that, for example, Venus is in conjunction with the Moon. And Venus is opposing the Sun on this very day. Let's move some hours ahead, right? Let's see when exact opposition will be. On the next day, Venus opposing the Sun on the 6th in the morning. Even midday, noon. And the exact opposition is known. So Venus is the ruler of the sun and ruler of the 10th house, and she is debilitated here. She potentially can indicate some issues here with power, definitely with this difficult state, debilitation, and opposing the sun. The opposition is very, very tense aspect. But this is not enough to say something more, but also let's see that, let's go for the Mars transit. Let's see, Venus is also going through the moon's position. Now, the moon position is important. The moon rules the 12th house, which is the house of loss. And Venus is not in good condition going there. And based on this, we can say there is danger of loss, of deception, of betrayal. I can say this definitely can happen. Mars is approaching the 12th house cusp. Very soon, a couple of days later, Mars will hit the 12th house cusp, which is usually when people get betrayed and or they suffer some kind of loss. 13th of November is the exact aspect, but we can say that he's already in the 12th house because the logic of the ancients is that once he's in the sign of the 12th house, he's there. So he has Mars in the house of loss right now. Finally, Uranus in the 10th house, which looks like something that can bring freedom and progress, right? But in this case, Uranus can be accepted as ruling Saturn in Aquarius, in the transiting planets. Okay. Let's go back to the 50th. So, here's Saturn in Aquarius, right? And Uranus can be accepted to be the ruler of the 7th house, the house of open enemies. And he's elevated, which can show potentially, his enemies
are elevated,
taking the upper hand, so to say. So there are various. These are only part of the reasons. We can talk here a lot, but this is what I finally choose.
Let me. There's some. This is a live. People asking, will she be winning the electorate or the popular vote? Is there a difference? I don't know. I don't understand elections, but is there a chance like he might win the popular vote, she might win the electorate, or you also don't understand how this works?
Well, at least I have read about the system, how it is going on. Let me think a little bit about that. What I have told you so far is about the final victor, right? Not about different kinds of elections.
Wouldn't the chart of America
I can say he will win the popular vote, but the electorate will be in her favor. And as the ruler of the 4th house, Mars, so the 12th house, exactly the popular vote can be a problem for him in one moment in various ways. So also, now you know my opinion, right? I'm reminding you that it was very difficult to be taken. So it's a kind of a choice also, but I'm following after all the logic of astrology. His 10th house lord being weak, her 10th house lord becoming strong soon, for example. And the 12th house involved for him in a bad way, etc., etc. You heard it all. So 12th house is a difficult thing when Mars is there. Definitely. If I have to say what is the nature of the candidates, we can see that she has Saturn on the midheaven, so she is much more like Saturnian type person. And he has Mars rising on descendant, so we can say he is more like Mars, which is very evident.
Very what?
And very evident.
Evident.
Yeah, and obvious, right? And having in mind that right now Saturn is very strong in his own sign, turning direct, and Mars is debilitated, right? I can accept them for basically kind of rulers of their charts in this scenario. So this constitutes a lot of the logic here.
Thank you. Do you see any, from the chart of America, do you see any civil unrest regarding the result?
Yes. Totally. There are ancient texts. I was wondering whether to talk about it or not. There are ancient texts when they say when Mars is in Cancer, as it is, I just read it yesterday. Clay tablets omens from ancient Mesopotamia. They're saying when Mars is in Cancer, there can be rebellions, and the astrologers are saying to the king, don't go outside, don't go outside. Say, stay inside a little more. So this can be like a dangerous time for the candidates also. So I guess both of them need to be more careful. But they definitely say this can be a rebellion. They say this can be a rebellion when Mars is in Cancer, and Mars will be a long time there. He will turn retrograde in December. He will stay literally in Cancer until almost the day of the wearing, the day of going into power, 20th of January. So 18th of January is the day when he goes out. So
yes, because
we
Cancer
can
is
say Cancer is national feelings, nationalism, right? Mars can make it like more aggressive, rebellious. And he's there a long time, and then he will return again there in the spring. So this can be actually very tumultuous, rebellious times ahead. I can see this in the both candidates' charts, actually. Yeah, so this is finally my opinion. And what remains is to see if I'm right or not. The last two times I were. So
yes, I saw you've put a lot of consideration, and I work mostly with transit, so for me it was like, oh, Jupiter in the 10th house. It's very, but I see you are taking into consideration a lot more other, like the current transits and so on. So thank you, Trifon. Thank you for your courage. And if anyone would like to contact Trifon for a personal reading, you see how he's very cautious with his predictions. He doesn't just go and blurt things out. He researches it. So if you'd like Trifon to be a personal astrologer, you can connect with him. I will put the link below to his profile. And also you can join us for the course. When are we going to do the video for the course? Trifon. And next week.
The last seminar comes in 2 weeks.
For love and relationship.
We'll make a video about it after a week.
So look forward to that with examples about predicting a marriage type of partner, how happy will be the relationship, will there be children, and so on. So I'm very excited for this video. Again, thank you for the courage. I've sworn myself never to do election videos. I don't want to piss any of both sides. I care too much about.
Well, I'm doing it in the last moment, not to influence too much people intentionally. Because potentially I can like gain name that I'm correct in prediction, then like many people will listen long time before. But I think this is like the best way to do it. And let's see if I will be correct, right? Yeah. But according to the logic I follow, this is my prediction. That the Saturnian candidate will win. This for me is Camel.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining us. And